You guys, as we're somehow almost already a quarter of the way through this 2022 NFL season, I personally don't think that there's a team that has answered the questions surrounding their organization going into this season more quickly than the Kansas City Chiefs. And I know some of you watching this video are most likely saying at this point, what kind of questions could you possibly be talking about? Because even while it will always be a bold take to bet against a team that is led by none other than Patrick Mahomes, following the departure of Tyreek Hill over the course of this offseason, and also not to mention the number of new faces surrounding Patrick Mahomes in terms of this offense's weapons, believe it or not, there were a fair amount of doubters when discussing how successful this offense could one day be, and also how long it would take them to get there. And I'll just say that with what's been seen out of this team throughout the first portion of the season, there are some scary indicators in terms of what the future of the Kansas City Chiefs might actually entail, and also there's some things that the Chiefs are exposing quicker than almost anyone could have anticipated. One sec though guys, if you haven't yet, don't forget to like the video if you do enjoy, subscribe, and turn on those notifications to never miss another NFL video. Love you guys. We're going to continue to come out with brand new NFL content every single week around here as the season goes on, so trust me, you do not want to miss out. But anyway, to get back on topic with the Kansas City Chiefs, because even after some of the offseason acquisitions that were briefly brought up before in guys like JuJu Smith-Schuster, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, rookie Skyy Moore, and even Justin Watson, while KC fans seemed extremely excited, rightfully so, to see how Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes would be able to utilize these new pieces in their offense, the majority of headlines that were seemingly smacking them right in the face leading up to this season mostly revolved around the missing aspect of Tyreek Hill in this offense, and with this role relatively being unfillable, the offense might see a step back in production, at least at the beginning of the season. Well, considering the fact that at this point in time, the Chiefs are pretty much a top 10 offense in the league when you're discussing either the pass or run game, they have the second highest point per game average thus far in the entire NFL, and they have the most receiving touchdowns out of any team so far. I mean, either KC is just off to a lucky start to begin the season, or this offense might just be the most explosive we've seen it over the last couple of years. And for anyone who hasn't necessarily been keeping the closest eye on Kansas City throughout their first couple of games of the season, I'll answer the question for you that no one on this KC offense has stepped up to fulfill the role that Tyreek had throughout his KC career, because again, according to the numbers, it would be very difficult to do. But what seemed so hard for people to understand over the offseason was that filling this role was never a necessity for this offense to be able to be successful. And through the first portion of this season, I think this has been made more clear than ever before with the dynamic that this offense is transitioning into. And just for a quick comparison of what I mean by this, the 2021 Kansas City Chiefs offense ended up seeing 48% of their total receiving yards for the entire season, along with almost a quarter of their total touchdowns going through Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill alone. And of course, as we've seen already this year, Travis Kelce is going to continue to be a key component in this offense as long as he is a Kansas City Chief. But aside from Kelce at the top of the list, and from what we've seen in just a short amount of time so far this season, the Chiefs might just have one of the deepest wide receiver rooms out of any team in the entire NFL. And I know when looking at the entire spread of who this offense has ran through so far this season, and obviously a lot of the credit needs to be given to Patrick Mahomes, it just really seems to be continually proven more and more as the weeks go on how the quote-unquote significant loss of Tyreek Hill in this offense is not detrimental, but it somehow seems to have elevated it. For example, again, Travis Kelce, the cream of the crop of this offense, that is not going to change. But below this, it seems to be a 2A and 2B mindset out of the next guys up in the acquisitions of JuJu and MVS, who, Chiefs fans, you can definitely testify from what we've seen out of them in prior years and even what we've seen so far that either one of them can step up and be a crucial component to this offense's success. And while all of the names in the so to say third tier of this wide receiver group might not pop out to some of you watching, the simple interchanging ability of all of these guys to step in at almost any given point and make a play is one of, if not the biggest reason in my opinion, as to why this offense has been firing on all cylinders for the majority of their games so far. I mean, even to touch on some of these guys in specific, you have but players like rookie wide receiver Skyy Moore, who just turned 22 years old, who has definitely already shown promise early on and is likely only going to continue to get an increased role in this offense, and he has currently barely been used, and he's considered the 6th highest targeted player by Patrick Mahomes right now. And then there's also Justin Watson and Noah Gray, who have proven they can step in and make a play as well. And then of course you can also forget about the big man Jody Fortson, who is quite literally the definition of an end zone threat, with just 2 receptions on the year so far, both resulting in touchdowns. I mean, I know it still could just be a little bit early, but for an offense that many people were saying would take some time to get into their full stride, if this isn't the highest level of their passing game, I don't think the NFL wants to see that highest level. But then there's also the run game, which again I think many people are surprised that KC is currently ranked as a top 10 unit in, because while I'm sure most people were expecting similar production out of their RB1 and Clyde Edwards-Helaire that we've seen out of him in recent years, even underneath what was the original RB2 slot in Jerick McKinnon, there's been a surprise weapon that just seems to be getting even better in this offense, and that is rookie Isiah Pacheco. And I mean, sure, while there's really only been flashes seen out of him thus far, which in turn is having many people question why he isn't more involved in this offense, if they're able to continually keep up what we've seen out of them in this aspect so far, this KC team might have the ability to be more versatile between the 2 components of their offense than almost anyone might have expected, at least in the preseason. But for a 7th round pick and rookie who's already being requested to get similar snap percentages as their RB1, if he could live up to the hype that he is currently receiving, it could be crazy. But then, as I always like to touch on the defense at least briefly as well, while this has absolutely been the sore spot of the Kansas City Chiefs so far this season, while it has luckily for the most part been overshadowed by the production of their offense, with some cause for concern in areas specifically like their secondary coverage as well as their point allowance so far, with injuries to some of their guys like of course rookie Trent McDuffie, and even the suspension of Willie Gay definitely playing a factor into how productive this defense actually is. They will definitely see better days, but still there are absolutely some questions that need to be answered. Nonetheless though, with everything that's been seen regarding the Kansas City Chiefs so far this season, and while some of you watching probably did fully expect them to be where they currently are right now, I still think that I can confidently say that they have exceeded the expectations that most people had for them, and if all goes well, they will only continue to do so as the year goes on. But of course, aside from everything that I've mentioned so far regarding the Kansas City Chiefs, I am also extremely curious to hear what you all have to think about their situation. So please let me know in the comments what has been the most surprising aspect to you regarding what you've seen out of Kansas City's offense so far. And also, if you had to choose 1 or even 2 guys, who do you think needs to be more consistently involved within this offense? But again though guys, if you haven't yet, don't forget to go down below and drop a like on the video if you did enjoy, and of course, subscribe while you're down there. We still have almost the entire NFL season in front of us, and as mentioned, we're going to continue to come out with brand new NFL content every single week, so again, you don't want to miss it. But also, I just wanted to say thank you so much to each and every one of you out there for watching. I appreciate you all more than anything, you all know this, and I will see you guys in the next video.